Hello, it's great to see everyone here today. I just wanted to welcome you again to the course and to a discussion on universal design for learning, Bloom's taxonomy, and also Fink's taxonomy for meaningful learning. All three of these will be important to your completion of the assignment for this week. And so I just wanted to talk through some of the expectations of that and tell you a little about my journey with it too. About 10 years ago when I was hired to ask, is that possible? No, it's not been 10 years. It just feels like 10. It's been 7. 7 years ago, I started off using Bloom's taxonomy, which is what I had learned when I was in Chapel Hill, and is a very effective way to write learning objectives. And I was working in the lab and enjoyed doing that very much. And then about a year after I had worked here, I was sent to a workshop called Course Redesign, because I was asked to redesign our health assessment course here at the university. And so I began working on that 3-day workshop and was exposed to Fink's taxonomy during that time and thought how nicely it fit with my philosophy of education, which is extremely learner-centered. And so Fink's meaningful taxonomy is also, or Fink's taxonomy for meaningful learning is also very learner-centered, and I'll show you some of that. But let's start off with universal design for learning. Our university has an excellent explanation and links out to the purpose for meaningful learning. Sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. Okay, here it is. So now I hope I'm sharing. There we go. So this universal design for learning page, and I got there from our course site. Remember, clinical judgment, critical thinking are the outcomes that we have for really all of our courses in nursing programs and nursing education. But the universal design for learning site talks about the purpose of universal design and the components and goals of that and different methods for using universal design. Links out here talking more about curriculum design, and I know you have a lot of this in your educational theory course. So you will be applying what you talked about theoretically there to educational strategies in this class, and then educational measurement with Dr. Huffman. So be sure to start there with universal design for learning, and then we'll go on to, let's look at Fink's taxonomy for significant learning. Here's a document that shows all the different components of this. Like I said, I went to a 3-day workshop on it, so you can go in pretty deeply through this different information on the importance of, to the different design phase, and this will take you right through to how you can use this taxonomy to design excellent educational modules. And so that is a fantastic resource for you. Perhaps you remember way back in advanced health assessment, the syllabus there, you may not have been aware of this, but these over here, these components are all written in Fink's taxonomy. So here's an example of knowledge-based objectives, application-based objectives, integration, professional identity, caring, and lifelong learning. So in Dr. Huffman's syllabus, I think you'll also see this taxonomy in use. So we have Bloom's taxonomy used for our course objectives, but then we break those down more specifically using Fink's taxonomy for meaningful learning and creating objectives under here. The idea is to always have a final product or some creative, real-world based application of knowledge in your course to make learning stick and help students to prepare for their future professional lives. And so that's what we have in this course is you'll be working with the A portfolio, and that outcome should help you as you seek employment to hold on to those educational units that you've created and have a repository for them so you can bring those products of learning with you when you seek employment in various settings. So that's to us really exciting. One thing to note, hearing is one of the aspects of Fink's taxonomy, and yet it's not caring in a nursing caring sense. It's really meant to be caring about the subject matter. So it's about the student caring about the material. And we probably are more familiar with that term as being student engagement. So those are objectives that are caring based. And then lifelong learning is very much a component of Fink's taxonomy. And as you probably have started to notice, most courses in our program end with some kind of lifelong learning component. And this comes from that educational strategy and which allows the student to imagine their future self, which we'll be starting with our discussion forum during this unit, where you'll imagine topics that you would like to be educating about, and then you'll design objectives for them. Now, be aware that writing these objectives is not easy to do and can take much more time than you might ever imagine. Good news is you're going to receive feedback from me on your objectives during this week's unit, and then you'll continue to work and redefine learning objectives using these strategies throughout the semester. So even when I look back at these here, there's changes I would make, like this applying evidence-based research findings. I could see how that could be related to knowledge, but it seems like why wouldn't I put that instead under application? So just recognize that there's a lot of self-critique that goes along with writing those objectives and preparing them. Other resources available to you in this unit include Blue's taxonomy. Under this Tech for Teach section, there's a lot of resources on this web link, including course design models here and so please refer back to these throughout the semester. So there's a wealth of information for you to consider in doing that. And then here's the taxonomy, analyzing, applying, constructing, remembering. So this is in reverse order. And then a link is also included to that. You can see remembering would be the most basic level, which is similar to Fink's knowledge level. Understanding usually has to do with being able to describe and classify a little higher level, all the way up to create. And you will create products in this course because we will be using those higher levels of learning in the course. So I just wanted to walk you through those resources and let you know that I'm here to discuss any particular challenges you have in relation to learning about these different taxonomies and then writing your own educational student-centered objectives for content of your own choosing. And I hope that you find that activity meaningful throughout the course this semester. I am excited to see the products that you create and the way that you apply the information that we provided for you in this Unit 1. And hope that if you have any questions that you'll contact me. I'm now subscribed to the Ask the Teacher forum and have answered Rebecca's question. Just want you to know all of the materials have been revised and corrected based on that. Cindy started, was up here today working with our junior students, and as you have opportunity to participate in labs or maybe in other educational experiences, I'm glad to talk with you, help kind of debrief that experience, and hear as you process what you noticed about it, how you interpreted what you saw, what you're thinking about it now in relation to course concept. And so I want you to know that I'm available for you and excited about all the things that you're learning. Have a great weekend and